What's going on, everybody? Welcome into another episode and another week of the What the Puck podcast. I'm Nick, that's Gunk, and Gunk, we should finally be over all the technical difficulties. I think we are all good, so we are good to record an episode for you lovely people. Episode 2 of the new season, hopefully in the coming weeks, we should be good to go to have no problems because, like I had said in our other test videos that you're not going to see, I've been having issues with my computer that I normally record episodes on. I've been having a lot of hard drive and system issues. So this is how we have to do it this week. I'm getting a new computer today to fix all the problems. So let's get right into the episode. Gunk, how you doing? We didn't do an episode last week because you said you weren't feeling good, so we are back.
Dude, I had the most terriblest cold I lost 2 days of work because of it. I was out. I thought I had the vid, but apparently I didn't, so I was good to go. Just a bad cold, got over it. We're ready to roll. And we have only, Nick, 1 day till we have an actual regular season hockey game coming up.
Yes.
I'm excited. Let's go. Hi. NJD is in another country now in Chechnya, the former Czech Republic, ready to play the Haunted, and led by our favorite coach, Lindy Ruff. Buffalo Sabres, baby.
Yes.
Woo! The excitement is I'm like tense. Let's go. I'm so excited. And I know the preseason for most teams are still going on, but for right now, as Devils fans, we are excited for these two games. Hopefully, this team comes together. See, this is why I love this trip, because of our new head coach, Sheldon Keefe now. He can get these guys together on a long trip and bond these players early on, I feel. I feel like if they can get this trip in and bond and maybe pull a win or two out, this will accelerate this season. And this trip is really big, I feel like, for the Devils. More for the Devils than the Sabres right now. But as we go along, we got hockey going on, and Nick, your Rangers were impressive the other night, and we had a Brodeur sighting.
Yes.
In the arena.
Oh my God! Yes, we did.
We've had the memes and the TikToks were all over about how Mr. 3 Ice, who I saw at Prudential Center playing at 3 Ice, not even maybe a little more than a year ago, was the starting goaltender for your New Jersey Devils, Mr. Jeremy Brodeur.
Yes, I started to watch that game after it was a sports-filled Monday for me that day. I had the Mets doubleheader against the Braves, which turned out fantastic for me. And then it rolled right into New York Rangers hockey. I was able to watch that, and right after, I turned it off. I could not handle hearing Saved by Brodeur against the Rangers anymore. It destroyed me.
I mean, guys, don't get me wrong. It was literally... It was the NHL uniforms, but it was literally...
It was an AHL game. It was an AHL game.
It was Hartford versus Utica, basically. But we did pull out a winner. It's our only win of the preseason so far, so I will take that for right now.
Yeah, a lot of people that I'm seeing are saying that they're happy they got one win because there's a lot of preseason curses with either going undefeated or losing every game. But of course, as we all know, preseason doesn't matter, but it matters to us.
Right, absolutely.
And honestly, I was happy that the Rangers lost that game. I wanted to make sure they lost one because didn't the Devils go undefeated last preseason?
Yes.
And that's exactly why.
I was so hyped about that last year because I was coming out of the semifinal appearance, and I was like, let's go. We're undefeated in the preseason, and then it just turned out the way it turned out. I mean, unfortunately it did. We got... Again, another fresh start for the Devils again. We'll start off by seeing 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. We'll see how this team could come together, and I'm super excited to see what the outcome of these games coming up are.
Yeah, the games in Prague are going to be exciting. We're definitely looking forward to that. But let's get a little bit into these Rangers Devils games that we had.
Yes.
We'll start with the most recent on Tuesday night. The Rangers win 5-4 at the Garden.
Yep.
So far, I'm relatively impressed with how with how some of the players look. Nervous on some fronts because for some reason this preseason has been brutal to a lot of star players. A lot of people are getting hurt. But with this game, we had some fights. We had some old-time hockey. We had some solid hockey throughout. The Rangers almost blow it. They almost blow it. You're up 5-2, and then it becomes a 5-4 game.
Yeah.
And to everybody's surprise, it wasn't really scoring up and down the lineup that helped the Devils come back into that game. It was Kevin LeBanc.
Kevin LeBanc, our PTO from this year.
Do you think it's just because he's trying to fight for a roster spot? I mean, I'm not sure how many spots there are in the Devils lineup for him to slot into. So it just it's good to see him having a bounce back from playing in San Jose and finally having something else that's fresh for him and a team that can be capable of winning more than 25, 30 games in a season.
Yep.
But it was interesting to see him put the team on his back and really try to get this game back into a controllable spot for the Devils.
Yeah, and even if he doesn't make it with the Devils, this game will prove to other teams out there that if the Devils have to let him go because of he doesn't want to go to he doesn't want to go to Utica or something like that, and they release him from his PTO, other teams are going to watch that game and be very impressed with them, and maybe we'll offer him a roster spot, maybe like one of the lower teams, like a San Jose might want to bring him back, like a Columbus might want to bring him in, just to give this guy a trial. So I feel like this guy balled out because he wants a contract, and good for him. I was very impressed with the 2 games he played against the Rangers this week. I was very impressed with Kevin. He was one of those guys I was like, oh, okay, PTO, cool, let's see, maybe he'll impress in a little bit, but I've been very impressed with him this preseason. I mean, like I said, maybe he can hook onto another team. That would be fantastic for him. But I would love to keep him in the organization just, injury-wise. If something happens to maybe like a third or fourth line guy, you could slot him in right there. And he looks like he would fit right into the Devils, the way the Devils play. They want to play up and down. They want to play fast, especially under Sheldon Keefe. They want to maximize their goal potential in this season because if you watch the Toronto for the last couple of years, they want to just score goals and score and score and score. So, they were one of the highest teams in the league. Of course, I mean, they got Matthews, they got a Marner, they got a Nylander, but, the Devils have, not as good, but potential on this team for, a big core 4.
Yeah, they got guys that can score. So I feel like that's what's good for Sheldon Keefe. He's going from team to team with stars.
Absolutely, yes.
And I feel like the Devils are going to be a good fit for that because that's something that the Devils always seem to be lacking is a lot of scoring depth. A lot of times they used to struggle with getting goals that they needed. And I feel like with a full season with Jack being there, hopefully he doesn't get hurt at any point during the season because he seems to get injured a lot at times.
Well, yeah. Being a smaller guy, it's gonna persist. The way he plays and the way he skates, how fast he is, there's going to be unfortunately injury opportunities, and he's seen that he can't make a full 82 game season. So hopefully this is the year that he can stay healthy, score, and lead this team on.
Yeah, that's exactly what you need, and with the amount of other players that you have that can do the same thing, not to the exact same skill level, but with the ability to just put the puck in the back of the net. I mean, you got Timo, you got Nico, you got all these guys that can really push through and really make an impact with the ability of the help from Sheldon Keefe because, like you had said, Toronto with Keefe had Matthews, Marner, Nylander, even Tavares at times when before the past season or two when he really started regressing due to age. He's had people that he could push to score, can get to score. So I really feel like looking at the games that the Devils have played so far, Sheldon Keefe seems to have a pretty solid system in place. So far from what you've seen, what do you think of the goaltending? Because I know that was an issue last year with the carousel of goaltenders that you had. You have Markstrom, you have Jake Allen. What are you thinking so far?
Again, through the preseason, Markstrom looked really good. I mean, he had that one shaky game. I think it was against the Islanders. He had that really shaky game against the Islanders. A lot of big saves, glove saves. I am a big glove save guy, and he makes tremendous glove saves, and I love that.
A little windmill action.
The little windmill, the scoops, yeah, he's my kind of old-time goaltender as I've seen so far through the preseason. I was very impressed with him. The saves he was making, I mean, he was making saves that last year are definitely goals.
Oh.
I mean, they were just watching the games and playing, NHL versus NHL players, a lot of these games before they left for Prague. Like I said, he saw a lot of NHL skill shots, and to me, I feel like a lot of those goals go in on the goalies from last year, and he made tremendous saves on them. So I'm hopelessly cautious right now, but I feel like if we can get the defense all back together, remember Pesci's still out a little. He's still out for a little more time. He's on his way back. He should be back after this Prague trip. He should be definitely back in the lineup. He's gonna need time to gel with the other defensemen. Tell me the truth, through the NHL players, I am very impressed with the Brendan Dillon play.
Honestly, so am I. I've been picking up on stuff and just seeing how he's playing, seeing how he's fitting with a lot of the systems that I had mentioned from Sheldon Keefe. He seems like he's really set to be a big contributor to this Devils team coming up through the upcoming season. And he's always been a serviceable defenseman, even in Winnipeg, throughout whatever coaches they had. I'm also very impressed with his play. He's looked very solid. He looks ready to play. He looks ready to adapt to what's being given in New Jersey.
Yes.
It's that's going to be one of those sneaky signings that you didn't expect at the time to be really good, but it's going to be something that really is able to pick up into what can be a really good gelling part of that back end, because that was another issue that the Devils had last season was defense. You lost Dougie, so you didn't really have that number one guy. You have him back. You have Pesci. You have Dillon now. You have NHL names.
And we still have Luke even coming back. We're gonna have Luke, and like I said, we have young guys. I mean, Nemitz, he's in the mix. I mean, he's a bottom 3 guy right now, and is your number 2 draft pick, and he's in the bottom 3, rolling the lines. But he has been tremendous this preseason himself. I mean, he's been playing really good defense. Kovacevic, I'm very impressed with him too. I'm very impressed. He showed out in these games that he seemed like he was always in the mix, always in the game. And when I watch games, I know when I hear players' names a lot, I know they're in the mix, and you could see them on the ice. That number 8 was so dominant in these games when I was watching these games. Apparently, Keith has very high expectations for him, and hopefully, like I said, as a back defenseman or as one of the 7 defensemen, spare this defense could be really loaded this year, and that's going to help and that's going to go back to the goaltending where that's going to help Markstrom, where in Calgary he did not have the help that he had, that he's going to have now coming up. And if we can get the forwards going, this really does feel like a dangerous team, but time will tell. We got to let the season play out. So right now I'm excited, but got to let the season play out. We've been here before with these seasons that, with high expectations, and then, we don't get what we think is going to be a good season. So let's see what happens. Like I said, they got this trip that they're on. I love it just for like I said, just to get the gel of the team, get everyone together in a hotel. You're there. You're learning the culture. You're learning stuff. You're getting together, you're living together, just fun, just even fun stuff, just going out to dinner as a team. doing team activities. I feel like that always gels this team, and this is what this team needs. And this couldn't hit at the right time.
Yeah, it definitely seems like it's gonna hit. Like you had said, time will tell. And you had mentioned your number 2 overall draft pick. Let's talk a little bit about mine.
Yes,
Because he scored the opening goal Tuesday night for the Rangers at the Garden. But that's all he's done this entire preseason is that one goal. He hasn't been that noticeable on the ice. It's starting to get to a point where I keep saying it. The experiment is over.
Yeah.
He's very clearly shown that he is not improving his game. I'm not sure if he's under the assumption, well, it's preseason and he knows he has a roster spot, but it's coming to a point where that should not matter.
No.
It is. He has honestly been non-existent on the ice. Even with players that he's played with before, yeah, the other parts of his line with Will Cooley and Philip Hedl look very good. Heedle's been fantastic this entire preseason. He's showing that he wants to be able to play a full 82 games, no injuries, make an impact on the team like he knows he can, and he has before. When he's healthy, he's fantastic. It's just getting to a point now with Kaapo Kakko that he's damn near abysmal on any shift that he's on. He's not working hard. He's trying. You could tell he's trying, but at this point, trying isn't enough. You need to do what a second overall pick is supposed to.
Right.
Because you look at the player that was in front of him, that got picked in front of him, first overall.
Yep.
He's a superstar. He is one of the faces of the league. He's on the cover of a fucking video game. You would never get Kaapo Kakko on a video game unless EA Sports had nobody else. And even then, I could pick so many other people.
Mm-hmm.
So it's getting to a point where number 24 needs to get booted off this team. I don't feel like he should make the roster for opening night. You should send him down to Hartford. Maybe it'll light a fire under him to recognize what I'm doing is not good. Even if you have to struggle to find somebody else. Anybody at this point seems to be better than him.
Play the kid.
Yeah.
Play the kid. Leave him up. Eggstrom.
I agree.
Now, as coming again, I'm watching again. I tried to watch both games through a Rangers perspective, basically. I want to say because I knew my team, my NHL team was not there, and I know most of my AHL guys. I know them. I know who they are. Your Hollandins, your guys like that. So we know those guys. So I was trying to focus on the Rangers, kind of like lower guys to get a glimpse of what their future looks like. This Ottoman and Eggstrom, I was impressed with both of them.
Oh, absolutely. I could totally agree with you.
I am so impressed. And now I'm putting the names to actual players, and I was impressed. And the Rangers' future looks pretty good with these two guys. I mean, like I said, you got your top guys, but these are going to be solid third and fourth line guys for you in the years to come. And like I said, I feel like they really stuck out in these two games.
Yeah, because you saw with Edstrom. Edstrom, he played a couple games for the Rangers last season. And even last season, he looked like a proper NHL player. He was playing in Hartford, playing other places, went back home for the offseason, was skating with NHL guys, and you could tell that there was improvements being made. And you just you don't see that with number 24.
Right.
So the stark contrast between these two players, like Edstrom was pretty sure a 6th round pick. Kaapo Kakko is a 2nd overall pick. What's the malfunction between Kakko and Edstrom? Like, Edstrom is skating fast, he's getting to pucks, he's scoring goals. That's what you need to see out of your young guys. You're seeing it with Othman, you're seeing it with Edstrom, you're seeing solid play out of Rempe. It's it's starting to get to a point where Capo Caco just looks ridiculous out there. It looks like he's anchoring down his line mates, and the line of Hedel, Cooley, and Kako seem to be one of the more promising lines to really bolster the bottom six, because that was the issue that they were having last year. The bottom six wasn't producing. It was just Panarin, Trocheck, and I wanted to say Kako. Panarin, Trocheck, and Laffy.
Right.
So I want to talk about the top line. You bring in Riley Smith to see if he can help with Mika, with Zibanejad and Kreider's 5-on-5 scoring, but you're not fucking playing them. They've played, I want to say, one game. It was a game against the Islanders at the Garden.
Okay.
You're not playing the guys, so good luck trying to figure out if their 5-on-5 scoring is going to fucking get boosted up. They're not playing any 5-on-5 minutes. They're not playing any minutes.
Right.
You'll obviously see the game tomorrow against the Islanders. They'll probably have the full NHL lineup out there to see how everything looks.
Right.
But you're not showing what these Rangers fans are looking for to see if the guys that we're picking up are actually doing anything. Yeah, I love that the young guys are picking up the slack here and there. They're looking really good, and we could talk about how good we have on defense with some of the younger guys. But if your top guys aren't playing and they're not answering the questions that have been raised by Rangers fans and by the Rangers media, what's there to be really looking forward to once the season starts in Pittsburgh?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, thankfully on the back end, Glass Bones and Paper Skin got hurt. That's not the thankful part.
Right.
But you step up and get injured in a fight because, yeah, it was a hockey hit on Filipino in the game against the Islanders, but what are you sticking your knee out for? I want to say it was Matt Martin. What do you no, it was Scott Mayfield. It was Scott Mayfield. Okay. What were you sticking your knee out for in center ice? It almost looked intentional. I know it wasn't, and Hedel just said he was surprised by it, so that's why he was down for so long. He came back, looked good after coming back, but what are you sticking your knee out for? Like,
exactly.
There's no concern of Scott Mayfield not making the Islanders. So You're not trying to prove anything. You're just proving that you're a greaseball.
Mm-hmm.
But to go back on defense, to talking about the defense, Lindgren gets hurt, so now you have to try to figure out who you're slotting in. And there's only one name that I can think of to make this team and stay in the lineup while Lindgren's out. Okay. Victor Man-fucking-Cini.
Love him.
Love him.
Dude, again, now I was going to bring him up. That's so funny you brought that up. He showed out so much in these two games against the Devils. I was very impressed with Mr. Mancini, and he deserves definitely a chance to break the bottom just to make a lineup. He brought so much energy. You would hear his name all game for both games. He was around it. He scored a goal. I mean, he was all over the ice, and he is not highly touted. I mean, I didn't even hear who he was until these games. So, I was because I was making fun. Was it some Italian guy from trying to make the Ranger team?
Victor Mancini. Hey, come on, we got Mancini on the back end.
I thought we were having a Tommy DeVito moment here and shit. You know what I mean? Come on, guys. I really thought that. I was like, oh my god, we got some Goomba friggin' guy. The Rangers are gonna find out of nowhere. He's gonna be like, hey, I'm gonna go to Jersey and I'm gonna sell pizzas. Oh yeah, but no. In all seriousness, I was very impressed with him. I know he's a draft pick. He's out of Nebraska, I think. University of Nebraska, I think he's out of. Let's see. That's I'm trying to find him on the organizational sheet. I'm trying to find them. Oh, here we go. Yeah, he was out of Nebraska, Omaha. 159th pick overall.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and I was going back to Edstrom too. Edstrom, 161. Rangers are finding little stars here and there. I mean, they're the drafting has been really well for them. So
I mean, when I see players like that are drafted in the late hundreds, it brings me back to players that are considered draft steals. Like, Henrik Zetterberg was a 6th-round pick, wasn't really thought of as being somebody that could really crack into the NHL full-time, and he was one of the best players for Detroit.
Right.
If we want to bring other sports into this,
I was going to bring up just for Brad. I mean, just for Brad, even on the Devils. I mean, he was a 6th-round draft pick, and I mean, the kid's turned into a superstar. I mean, he really has. I mean, he's flashy, he's great, he scores, he assists, he's playing on the top line. So, like I said, definitely one of the biggest draft steals that the Devils ever made. And like I said, you go back, like I said, other sports. Again, my team, Tom Brady,
who was the 6th-round pick?
6th-round pick, 199. I mean, I'll always remember that. I remember that day watching it on TV, him getting drafted, and like, oh, I'm the Michigan guy. Okay, cool. I remember watching the first preseason game he ever played. I was in California, and they were playing the Niners, and I lived in California at the time. And I remember them being on national TV. I was like, oh, this is exciting. I actually get to watch the Patriots game. And I saw him play, and he was impressive in that game, and he just stuck out to me, and the dude became legendary.
Yeah, so he's one of, if not the best quarterbacks of all time, one of the best football players of all time. So it's those little diamonds in the rough that you really got to look at. And another player on defense that's really showing that he wants his spot on this team after being dropped multiple times, never really given a chance except for when people got hurt, Zach Jones.
That's another one. I was gonna say how many times I've heard Zach Jones' name brought up. Like, oh, he played fantastic against the 2 Devils games I watched. He played fantastic in the second game. I'm very impressed. He's fighting for a spot.
Fighting he is, and he should get a spot, even if it's on the bottom pairing. You put Trouba with him. You got Trouba, who's looked honestly fantastic throughout the preseason. The couple games that I've watched, he's looked good on defense. He's getting back. He's getting into positions. He's not turning the puck over. I'm not sure if he's trying to go into the season clean slate after everything that happened in the offseason, but if that's what he's doing, he's looked fantastic. I've had no issues with his play. I don't think he should be with Miller anymore. He should be that bottom pairing with a Jones, with whoever even with a Braden Schneider. You can, because you know where you're getting out of Miller. You're getting decent offense at times, solid defense. You know what you're getting with Fox, Norris Trophy winner a couple years ago. You're getting a lot of these. You're getting a lot of these guys back that you know what they're capable of. So now you're really seeing what the kids can be capable of. You could see how Mancini fits in the lineup, how Jones fits in the lineup, because it's not just the defensive aspect that we're looking at with Zach Jones. He's scoring goals. You don't see a lot of defensemen in the NHL anymore scoring goals. And they are nice goals. Like, they're not clap bombs from the point, but they are solid wristers that are beating goaltenders.
Yep.
And it's very impressive to see. I mean, even the games not against the Devils, looking at the games against Boston, the games against the Islanders, you're getting solid results out of these guys, and I could not be happier to see these young guys stepping up into positions for the New York Rangers to show, because like a lot of people are saying, if the Rangers don't win the Cup this year, the core is done. Right. This is the last dance for this team. You need to see the future is still there. Yeah, the present may not be the way that we want, but the future is going to be there. You are going to see what you want. And it's been fantastic watching these young guys step up. and try to fight for their spots in the lineup. Because you know what? A lineup spot isn't sacred anymore. Nope. Yeah, you may be getting paid all this money. People get hurt. People play poorly. The farm system exists for this reason, and we're seeing the execution and utilization of it perfectly from these young guys to really be able to step up and keep it rocking. To see what this lineup is come next Wednesday against Pittsburgh, I'm excited to see what we got. You can really see improvements all throughout the lineup, and it's really just getting to a point of getting ready for the regular season. You'll get a glimpse of it Friday tomorrow against the Islanders for the preseason to be over. And that's pretty much where we're at now with the Rangers. It's solid play, solid players. Yeah, it's where we're at. So we got the last preseason game like I was talking about tomorrow. And then we head over to Pittsburgh to play in the Steel City. Yep. Other than that, there hasn't been that much throughout the I keep on wanting to say the postseason. This entire episode, I've been wanting to say the postseason. I'm that ready for the playoffs. Yep. But yeah, preseason's almost done. Like you said, the Devils got the games in Prague. Yep. We're getting into the thick of it, Gunk. We're starting to get back into regular season hockey. It's back.
Oh, absolutely. Yes, absolutely. I am in so regular season mode right now. It's not even funny.
Yeah, with preseason being the way it's been, I've been watching postseason baseball. My Mets made it in.
Yes.
They play in a do-or-die game tonight in Milwaukee, so hopefully come next week, I'm not ready to lose my mind over the Mets being the Mets. But, we're back into it with sports. My Commanders look fantastic, 3-1. Jaden Daniels is a stud, baby.
I love it. God, one microscopic percentage point, we could have had the second pick, and he would have been ours. Don't get me wrong. Let me get my boy Drake May, give him a chance, but for right now, Jaden Daniels looks like the real deal,
and he has proven it with that. He had a fantastic win against the Bengals. He's connecting with Terry McLaurin. The Commanders look fantastic. My football team looks fantastic. My baseball team looks really good. My hockey team looks really good. It's going good in the D'Amico Ferry household in terms of sports. And as a Commanders fan, I've never really seen a team that's truly capable of being good, and now I got it, and man, am I loving it.
Enjoy it, because it doesn't last. For me, it lasted long, but sometimes it doesn't last long, so enjoy it now.
I sure am, but Gunk, with not much happening in the preseason, there hasn't been that much news. Obviously, with the regular season starting, we'll have more to talk about. I think we're fair to wrap it up here. A nice little quick episode before we get into the grand scheme of everything. Gang, check us out on our TikTok at What the Puck Pod. You can find a lot more videos as the regular season starts coming up from there. But Gunk, I love you. Gang,
love you too, buddy.
We love you. We're glad you're sticking around for another episode. Hopefully this episode looks and sounds really good as we come through because of the issues that we're having. Next week I'll have a brand new PC, so we should be able to rock and roll from there. But Gank, I mixed Gunk. I mixed up Gunk and Gang. Gang.
That's all right.
We both love you. We can't wait to hear from you more as the season progresses. This has been another episode and another week of the What the Puck podcast. Take it easy, baby.
Woo!
Peace.
Peace.